It is Game 6 between Carolina and Vegas. We're back in Sin City with the Cup in the building. Carolina won Game 5 to put Vegas on the brink of elimination and give them the opportunity to win the Stanley Cup on the road. However, there are a few big storylines coming into this game. First is goaltending for Vegas. Carter Hart has been no bueno in this series. He's the only goalie in NHL Stanley Cup Final history to allow 4+ goals in each of the first 5 games. So there's a lot of talk about whether or not Carter Hart should actually start in this one. But Torts, he shot that down right away, saying that that was the stupidest question he'd ever heard. All right, pal, whatever you say. He is sticking with his guy as Carter Hart gets the nod. Torts was so confident that they would come back to Carolina that he volunteered to leave his clothes there. He's just fully putting his balls on the table and laying it all on the line. The other story is Brandon Bussey, the bus driver. He has come in and completely turned the series around for the better for the Hurricanes. And before we take a seat and break down this game, let's set you up with the best seats for your next live event with our friends over at SeatGeek. Guys, with SeatGeek, all of your ticketing needs from the NHL playoffs to the NBA, MLB, and even World Cup tickets are taken care of. The #1 rated ticketing app with over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek has over 70,000 listed events that you can choose from. For years now, I've been using it exclusively to find the best tickets for every game or event I go to. With the app, I can browse seating, search for tickets, and get the very best deals. Every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee, so once you buy your ticket, you're ready to rock. Right now, you can get 10% off any tickets by downloading the SeatGeek app and using promo code HOCKEY2026. All you have to do is just click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account to use at any time. So get started, use the code, and enjoy your next game on a great deal using SeatGeek. Now, in the first period, we see the tale of the goaltending storyline play out right away. All throughout this series, puck management has been crucial for the success of either team. And if you're playing against the Carolina Hurricanes, you got to be careful with that puck at the offensive blue line because they are one of the best transition and rush teams in the league. And that's how this play starts. Vegas gets a chance here on the transition with Barbashev having the puck along the wall. But this is what Carolina does so well, especially their best defensive defenseman in Jacob Slavin. They protect each line as much as possible, and this is a subtle little play by Slavin at the red line here. He decides to get super aggressive on the puck carrier to make him make a play. Sure enough, he gets a stick on that. It creates a bobbling puck for Vegas to try and control at the line. On top of that, look at the layer of back pressure Carolina has coming in for support. It makes it really hard for this Vegas player to control that puck, and just like that, the Golden Knights get caught with 3 deep, and Carolina is ready to transition. And who's there sneaking in behind enemy lines? It is Taylor Hall. He comes in on a semi-breakaway, and this is one that Carter Hart wants back. Hall goes low glove on the first shot of the game, and that is one that even if it's a decent chance, you just really want to save there. Torts is looking at the replay, and he can't believe it. He's like, shit. And I may have just left my suit in Carolina for absolutely no reason. That is a tough one to let in. Unbelievable shot, but that's the extra save that Vegas can't get right now. And that is exactly what Carolina is getting from Bussey, because the first featured some big moments. Vegas got a couple of great chances, but ladies and gents, this is the bus driver, and he is in charge right now. 2 huge saves is what keeps this game 1-0 Carolina. Let's go a little over halfway through the second, where Carolina's best line throughout the entire playoffs comes up big again. The Hall, Stankoven, and Blake line, they are a bunch of hungry dogs on the puck. They win multiple battles, and this is what Carolina also does so well too. They double team pucks, they shrink the space, and they get possession. Now you got Vegas chasing, and this area between the center and the winger is where Carolina could expose that zone coverage of Vegas. Sure enough, Jackson Blake, 2 first names, sneaks into that blind spot, takes a one-timer. It goes off of Mitch Marner of all guys and into the net. He finally scores in an important Game 6. 2-0 Carolina as they go into the third period, just 20 minutes away from winning a Stanley Cup. But this series has been so nuts that no lead is safe. Yet Carolina, for a large chunk of the second and third period, were just stifling. There was a large portion where Carolina didn't allow Vegas to get a shot on goal. The neutral zone was an absolute slog for Vegas. A lot of one and dones for the Golden Knights. There was no room for their best players to get a controlled entry, especially Jack Eichel. They were giving him no space to operate as they had a guy in his face pretty much all game. However, Vegas did get a chance to get a break. Halfway through the third, they go on the power play, and sometimes this is how you know it ain't meant to be. It's a broken play that creates a mini 2-on-0. Stone and Eichel play a little hot potato. Eichel decides, I'm going to pull the trigger, and it goes off the crossbar. He cannot believe it. They can't beat the Bussy. And here's a live picture of Bussy down the stretch here. He was that good because Vegas, they had their chances, including this one from the Ninja Hurdle. All alone, Bussy's on his ass, and he still denies it. It is destiny, baby, as Carolina seals the deal with a Nikolai Ehlers empty netter, and the Hurricanes win the Stanley Cup. Sebastian Aho and Rob Brind'Amour can't even contain it. For one side, it is utter euphoria, and for the other, it is bitter disappointment. So who gets the Conn Smythe? It is the 37-year-old Jordan Staal. Better call Staal. He's the oldest Conn Smythe winner in NHL history, and what a performance he had in these playoffs. In a league that is getting younger by the second, you got an unk who is 225 pounds of pure animal and fundamentals of the game of hockey. 2 months ago, when this whole thing started, he set the tone for the Carolina Hurricanes by fighting Brady Tkachuk on the very first shift of the very first game of the playoffs. He had an historic Cup Final performance, and he earned the MVP. But before we get on to the rest of Carolina, let's talk about Vegas. I think as the series went on, they got beat pretty clearly in two areas: goaltending and special teams. Carter Hart didn't allow 4 goals in this game, but they also got shut out, so it didn't really matter. When they needed an extra save from him throughout this series, they just couldn't get it. Also, looking back, Vegas lighting up Freddie in Game 3 was perhaps the worst thing that they could have done, because after that, Bussy came in and it changed the series. In addition to that, their penalty kill wasn't good enough in this series. The Hurricanes' power play were just picking them apart. Finally, what at least I thought could have been the X factor in this series, which were Vegas' superstars, Carolina put on a clinic when shutting down guys like Eichel and Marner. Leaf fans are absolutely over the moon that Marner doesn't get his cup. In the first half of the series, he was lights out. He had 7 points in 3 games. In the remaining 3 games, Leaf fans are like, there's the Mitch Marner we all love and know. It is a funny world sometimes, as Marner rejected a trade that would have made him a Carolina Hurricane when he was still on the Leafs. And in a full circle moment, they're the ones that beat him in the Stanley Cup Final. The next question is, what kind of things do the Vegas Golden Knights have up their sleeves moving forward here? They have the most ruthless organization in hockey, and with them falling short, it'll be interesting to see what changes they make to try and get back to this point. It's also still up in the air whether or not John Tortorella remains the head coach, so we're going to see what happens next in Vegas. Now, for the Carolina Hurricanes, when it's all said and done, this was one of the most dominant playoff teams we've seen. They end the playoffs with a 16-3 record, and they were surgical in their execution. The NHL is a copycat league, and so with how this team is built, it's going to be interesting to see how that impacts other teams' philosophies around the league. The Hurricanes brought a little bit of that money ball to the NHL. They won the cup this season, and they were $12 million under the cap. On Carolina, there isn't one bona fide superstar. They got fantastic players, obviously, but their strength is that every single player on that roster has a role. They understand the identity of Hurricanes hockey, and they execute within that system. The Hurricanes did try to have superstars with Rantanen and Gensel, but when they sensed that there wasn't a buy-in or a commitment to play their system, they ultimately moved on and brought in pieces that would. They're also a team that practiced a ton of patience. They've been one of the best regular season and playoff teams year after year, and yet they would fall short. But they stuck with their process. They stuck with their coach, Rod Brind'Amour. They acquired better players like Ehlers, Miller, Stankoven, the list goes on. And from a tactical perspective as well, they evolved as a team. For the longest time, they were dump and chase oriented, but this year they struck an effective balance between possession and forechecking play, and it all paid off to create this juggernaut. They deserve this Stanley Cup Final, and they may have set a new formula for how to build a cup winner in the salary cap era. So, what did you think of the Stanley Cup Final? Do you agree that this was some of the best hockey we've ever seen? Do you think Carolina has a chance to repeat next season? Let us know in the comments down below. And also, I just want to say thank you for another fantastic season of hockey and following the channel. It is my favorite thing to break down game film, talk hockey with you guys, and just put content out there for you guys to enjoy. The growth that we've seen on this channel, thanks to all of you, has been incredible. This is the best job in the world. So thank you so much for supporting and watching. We got some big plans for the summer as well. The draft is right around the corner. This offseason might be completely nuts as well, with guys already requesting trades. You got controversial coaches, maybe getting a head coach job yet again. So buckle up and make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss a single thing. We also have the full season recap dropping on the channel very soon, within the next few weeks. It should be ready, so make sure you're following the channel and you don't miss that. And as always, I'm Anthony. I do the breakdowns, and we will see you in the next one.